and welcome back to Always Off Brand. I am your co-host, Summer, and we've also got Scott Ashman.
Good morning, Summer, on a sunny morning.
And Haley Brucker, Haley in the news.
Good morning.
How is everyone doing this Friday? I'll start. I'm really good. I am loving life today. Woke up early, 5:30, started doing some laundry because I had a few more things I needed to pack for my trip. I'm pumped.
How was the rally carring or whatever you did for your birthday?
Yeah, we need an
sent you
update.
guys photos. Oh my god!
No, you didn't send us shit.
I'm sorry.
What are we bums? I thought we were all tight in the AOD text chain.
So I was like full hormones when Fast and the Furious came out, right? Like just like this is the hottest thing I've ever seen. I'm gonna be this person, like. And then when I was 20, I started doing some work for Subaru and I would drive the STIs. I thought I was like this incredible, no fear chick. I am a sissy. I get on that track and the guy's like, okay, we're going to show you like this warm up. Like, here's this circle. It's a big giant. So it's these rally cars. They're Subaru STIs. They completely tear them apart, put new engines in them, new brakes, new all these things.
All
right?
the things. Yeah.
And they're like, okay, here's this circle and you need to make a square. Like, so you gun it, then throw the wheel to 180 degrees. Gun it, throw the wheel to 180 degrees. And I'm like, okay. They're like, well, we're going to go first. Y'all, they go first. I get out of the car. I'm shaking. I was terrified. Because you're like, this car is going to flip the F over. Like, I'm not living anymore.
No, it's not
like,
going to flip over. They like have special things in there that makes it not.
No, it can flip. It can flip. It's just not going to flip with Grandma Summer driving. So I'm terrified. And the guy's like, okay, you're doing good, but you could go a little faster. Like you could, it's not going to, and like, and then it like,
what was the top speed?
I love it.
I don't know. You don't look at it because you're trying to figure out like,
are you
when you let the gas?
Is this down in?
No, it's all gravel.
Not to drop.
It's in Snoqualmie. It's all gravel and it's like a professional place. Like they were like name dropping all these people. I'm like, y'all, I have no, like, this isn't a reality TV star. I don't know who this
like
is.
The Gymkhana guys.
Sure. I don't know who that is. So they're like, named like all
what about like the car commercials? Is that where they film all the car commercials?
They do film some there. Yeah. It was a gorgeous setup. It's called Dirtfish. I can't recommend it enough. It was incredible.
Hey, if they want to sponsor the pod.
The instructors were amazing. It was a lot of fun. I want to go back and do it again now that like I understand it more. So
all I can hear in my head is the quote from Talladega Nights that says, "If you ain't first, you last, Ricky Bobby."
Don't listen to these people, Ricky. You're a winner. You got the gift. Always remember, if you ain't first, you're last.
Dude, I would have been last.
Sweet tiny baby Jesus.
Yeah, all these like Talladega Nights.
I agree.
In my head right now.
And bake.
The drivers out there, if you smell a delicious crispy smell after the race, it's not your tailpipe. It's a little bit of shake and then bake. Shake and bake. That's what you got.
Yep.
Shake and bake, baby.
The most annoying part was they give you this big giant helmet to wear and it's got like a mic set so you can talk to your instructor the whole time.
Yeah.
The only use for that helmet is that I hit my head every time I got in and out of that damn car.
But it didn't hurt because you were protected.
I sent you guys a photo. There's like a bar, so you had to like crawl over the bar and like the whole car is just like this incredible setup.
Okay, did you not feel claustrophobic?
No, I was too scared of
flipping. I can't even wear the full face helmets because I feel wildly claustrophobic. And so getting into a car that I don't think I could get out of really quickly. I can't even sit in the third row seat of my car.
Yeah.
Because I get so claustrophobic in the back. I get
that. Yeah, I get that. No, I didn't feel that way. It was fun.
So are you driving your actual car differently now?
I am. And I'm like, and you know what they do? They do instructions for like you could bring your street car, and they have streetcar instructions. So
why would you need that?
What? There's always time on the free. Are you kidding me? I zooming out.
You're the people I can't stand.
Oh, I am 100% that person.
Oh my God, drive me crazy.
All right. Well, guess who is 100% here today as our guest?
Who?
Well,
You mean
let's
our
find out.
guest?
I'm trying to
Whoa.
do the transition.
Oh, that was
so
a
you
transition.
guys
Wait, I thought there was a new
moving.
animal in the house.
I thought there was a new pet.
Yeah, so did
No,
I. I'm like, I'm looking at the couch
just-
behind you, YouTube watchers, and I'm like,
Here I
is there
am
somebody
speeding
else
up this
on there?
PowerPoint presentation because y'all have a hard stop.
That is true. We do have a little quick
Okay.
in there. All right. Let's get rolling and get our getting our guest going. Sorry, Haley. Both Summer and I
That was good.
we fell flat.
That was good though.
That was good.
Clearly not, because nobody got it.
No, we're just
Scott can edit it. We'll edit this. It'll be
Oh
good.
yeah, we'll edit it out. Just edit everything. All right, let's
Oh,
start.
Summer, I just got your picture. Yeah, that bar would nope. Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's we'll try to put that up on the tube. All right, let's get with our guest here who's waiting patiently. All this Michigas here. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm going to bring him up to the YouTube stage. Boy, is this guy a character. Could be one of the most interesting gentlemen we've had on. If you peel back the layers, he was in a back room selling cell phones at one point. Then he was a correctional officer at Rikers for years. He got back into e-commerce. Now he's the brand evangelist for PickFu. And let me tell you, this guy can talk product detail page like nobody's business. Ladies and gentlemen, John Aspinall.
Hey, folks. Morning.
How's it
Welcome.
going?
Good
intro.
morning.
I bragged before the intro. Is the intro okay?
Intro was
Oh,
8 out of 10. I felt like I had to. I felt like I had to fight someone after that, which I wasn't prepared for. So you lost 2 for that.
I didn't hear anything past Rikers.
Yeah.
I know.
Same.
I know.
That's funny.
Me neither.
So quick recap before we do anything. Just taking some hot notes over here. Rapid fire. Is going in a plane gonna make Vertigo worse? I thought that was hilarious. Intro music that you guys have brings me back to the 70s, which I was never in. The theme for this morning is Morning Zoo, that I haven't signed up for. I have some notes here. Full hormones and Fast and Furious. Had to notate that. A girl driving an STI, that was a noteworthy thing. I did note here, Subaru box engines are trash, which is indeed true. Haley's cat may no longer be with us any longer, which may or may not be true. Car commercials hit me with December to Remember. I don't know why. I never bought a car in December. Talladega Nights. Notes aren't done, sir. Talladega Nights is number 2 movie for Will Ferrell. Step Brothers is number 1. Sorry, that's just fact. And lastly, third row seat of my car is a catch-all for everything in my family's life and resembles/smells like a Chinese restaurant dumpster. That's my notes. Show me the money.
I don't believe Will Ferrell's. I don't believe that. Step Brothers and then Talladega Nights. No, Elf. Elf has got to be number 1.
Elf, and then also the
Elf,
one where he's
yes.
back at college and he's drunk running down.
Oh,
the street.
that's the best.
We're going streaking.
Yeah.
We're going streaking. Yeah. That's old school.
Step Brothers is the most quotable and referenced Will Ferrell movie ever.
Now, to be
I
fair,
love you.
yeah, if you're
That's Elf.
yeah, that Elf is.
I thought you were just expressing your emotions for me on my first time. I was like, okay, that's cool.
Santa, I
Not weird or
know
anything. No
him.
problem.
If you're not, it's just I'm a Will Ferrell guy. Like he could literally read, the morning whatever, and I'd be laughing. He just cracks me up. That guy
He
cracks
is
me up whatever he
so
does.
funny.
So correctional officer, what has that brought to your intensive understanding of product detail pages in the Amazon space? And
That's actually
what doesn't?
it's so interesting because I would sit there in maximum security housing areas, and I would just be writing in my logbook, and a guy that's there that's convicted of double rape, double homicide would just come up to me and be like, "Hey, officer, what are your thoughts on alt text behind main images and hero images?" And I would say, I haven't thought about that in a little bit, but it's interesting. Can you stop stabbing that guy for a second and put the shank down and talk to me a little bit more about that? Because I'd really like to understand a little bit more about your thoughts on conversion rating and click-through rate. And he eventually stopped stabbing the guy, and then we talked about it. But yeah, it's actually no, I did e-commerce before corrections.
I know.
Yeah. Then I went to go work in the daily deal space when the daily deal space was a big thing. Like Groupon was a big deal. I went to go work at Choxy, which was like No More Rack, which was It was a whole big thing. They did a ton of money. They were going to get acquired by like Alibaba. The owner said, "Nah, I'm good. I'll hold out for more money." And then I went to go work at that place got shut down by the feds. Whatever. You don't want to hear about that. Fine.
Yeah, that's a great story.
And I took a random job selling mattresses in Midtown, and then I went to go apply for the job at corrections because everyone in New York City works for the city. And I was like, oh, $100,000 after 5 years. Yeah. Who's going to make it at 5 years? Not me.
Yeah.
And then I did it. And then COVID hit. And then I got looped back into e-com. So yeah.
Summer, would you like to get this back on the rails or no, you're eating. Okay. She's taking an eating break.
Well, what are you eating? So at least I can live vicariously through
what?
So I didn't know this was here. I was going to ignore it. But when I walked away and came back, my son baked cookies for me last night. And he put one of the cookies on the desk and I was ignoring it. But then like I worked out this morning, so I'm feeling a little like sugar. And yeah, anyways, so sorry.
She's eating a homemade cookie. That's really cute.
Gluten-free.
Fantastic. John, you're the PickFu. We love PickFu. We are huge PickFu fans here. I've had Justin on. We're if you're not using PickFu, I don't know what you're doing. Okay, you should PickFu your entire life. I have tried to do that. But what is happening today in the state of the product detail page? In fact, I just over the weekend, one of our trusty Quickfire clients got all kinds of havoc done on their product detail page in the back end that we just redid, by the way. We just redid all of it. Poof goes the magic dragon, and all of a sudden the PDP is just a mess, and we had to rebuild it over the weekend. Thank you very much. What's happening on Amazon for PDPs?
With the PDP, it really depends, right? So it depends if it's a vendor central or seller central kind of thing.
I mean, let's just talk vendor because I'm just curious.
Well, vendor central is a nightmare. I'll tell you that.
Oh, yes.
Vendor central, the going trend right now is hurry up and get off vendor central. In fact, when AI first became a thing, I said, generate an image of what it's like to get set up to go from seller central to vendor central. And it was a man shaking hands with a devil and like blood dripping down like this, right? So a lot of people are wanting to get off that because there's a lot of ease of operations because you just send the inventory and Amazon buys it. That's cool. I kind of, I'm very contrarian. I think that's for lazy brands. That's just my personal hot take where it's like, you don't want to be in control of it and you just want to sell it inventory and that's it. Right.
Okay. It can also be for brands that don't have resources, that their resources are limited, meaning like storage space or logistics capabilities, or, I think there's a lot of other options that would make vendor good for the brands. But however, those are the smaller brands that just got kicked off. So it's irrelevant now.
But for storage and stuff, there's FBA, right? But you're talking like you don't want to send all your stuff in there. Well, then there's 3PLs, right? So then there's ways around it where you could still maintain control and integrity of your brand without, giving up the golden goose, right? Because once you're on vendor, to come off vendor or to change anything, or I've seen it's just a headache, and that's why there's a huge spike in 2P. Right. So there's 1P, there's 3P, and there's 2P. There's that pattern Spreetail model and guys like Neato Commerce that are doing this kind of stuff. And literally it's basically 3P or it's basically 1P without having to commit so much.
Explain what 2P is to our listeners.
Yeah. So 2P is, I don't even think it's like a real term. I think it's just they decided between.
It's people like us that said it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's basically there's a company that sells as, I'll just say, John's Retail. So John's Retail is a 2P, and I buy your product from you. I pay you instead of a 2-week payout. I pay you like a net 30, net 45, and I handle all of your creation, storage. I buy the inventory. I do all that kind of stuff. I run everything for you. So it's basically like 1P, but not. Does that make sense?
And a lot of times those agencies, or what do you want to call them? What should we
call them?
Label
Exclusive resellers, because it's the same.
There you go.
Great for the manufacturer, right? If I'm not ready for D2C or whatever, it's like boom, you cut me a PO, we do the deal, you handle Amazon, I wipe my hand clean, like it's all you. I'll give you some money for advertising, and it's I'm out of it.
Yeah, I was going to add they have resources to create assets. So if your brand doesn't have video capabilities, or maybe your graphic team is, their plates are too full to get new content out. They have the capabilities of doing all of that also. So, and they meet your brand guidelines as well. So,
John,
it's kind of a cool model.
You were saying that like with content, depending on if you're 3P or 1P, the challenges there can be different. So let's get back onto that subject. So when we're talking content for these and the challenges that there are, what are you seeing?
So first off, you don't get premium A+ with Vendor Central, right? So you can't do that. You can, but I think you have to pay a ton of money for it. Like, you guys, have you heard that? Like, you have to pay.
Or work it into your AVN JBPs. Pro tip.
Wow, there was a lot of acronyms right there.
That was like, did you just like call me a name or something like that? Should I be offended at what that was?
She had a small stroke. She's okay.
Has the
Annual vendor negotiations, joint business planning.
So
sounds
okay,
like a call.
And premium A+, that makes it better for brands. They see higher conversion if they have that.
That's what people say, right? I'm in the camp
on that, because
that's what people say. But here's the thing: I'm a fan of, like, what are you really doing, right? So was that a bell? What do I do?
Yeah.
I have a lot of sound effects. You haven't heard a lot of them.
That scared me.
Don't worry, they're not sending the prisoners back into their cages. Like,
That's what it sounds like when an alarm goes off and I have to suit up and run to the staging area to go for whatever. So anyway,
PTSD.
I'm in the camp of, I shop on my phone, and most people, 60% of people, are shopping on mobile app, right? When I shop, I put in my problem. I look at the image. I look at the price to see if I want to pay it. I look at the title to confirm what it is, and then I go and I buy. I urge anyone that cares about if A+ content is really super powerful. The last time you shop for something on the Amazon mobile app, did you go to the A+? Probably not.
No, because you have to scroll down pretty far. I mean, they have put it up right above the description and the bullets now, but it's still.
Yeah, but I only
still
look
not great.
If it's something where I need like all the dimensions, or I just need a lot of, if I'm not familiar with it. If it's like shampoo, like I don't need to read all of that. Like,
there's a lot of Brian Hennessy from Talcoot we had on. We need to have him on again. They study all of this stuff. 20% of the people, and if it's usually larger, more complex, technical type products, might to the thumb scroll down farther. Or there's an ingredient set, but 80% of the people never scroll down twice. I mean, again, to your point, John, the fact that they're charging all this money for this, to me, is just, it's lunacy.
Well, here's the thing. If you have to scroll down to get the information you need for the technical things to make the purchase, well, shame on the brand for not putting that in the image stack, because you get like 7 to 8 images to do that, right? And then you get a video up there. So you're able to do that over there. What I find is, like, big brands, they'll do very like minimalist Apple-esque kind of stuff. Like, here's an image, like, learn, grow, work, and then say like very obscure things. And then you get down to the A+, and there's a lot of times brands are doing very brand specific A+, not product specific A+. Like, if I'm looking at something like a receiver or something technical, and I go down to the A+, and then you start telling me about, we're the best brand for this, and we have all these things. Like, dude, I came down here to learn more about this thing,
Yeah.
I love it.
But back to the PDP corruptions. So when all of these unauthorized, I'm going to call it, edits and changes are being made to the PDPs, what now? It's kind of out of our control. And I was on a call with my Amazon support team last week, and this may have been a thing for a while, but I just learned it. So let me share with the class. Vendor doesn't have main contribution anymore. 1P does not hold main contribution. So even if you've got a third-party seller, authorized or unauthorized, they could be contributing to that PDP also, making it really diluted and just all wonky, for lack of a better word.
You have to remember, right? Amazon is a marketplace. It's not, this is your site, this is your page. Even if you have brand registry, I mean, think about how many brands are truly gated on Amazon. It's very, very few, right? To get gated, right? So when people start to, I think people get a little bit, or brands get a little bit up in their britches I don't even know if that's the right way to say that, but they want to think like, hey, this is my page.
That out.
Yeah. Just winging it.
It's also a safe space to try new things.
It really is.
So they think like, I have brand registry. This is my page. You can't sell on my page. You can't do this.
Right.
You can't change this. You can't do that. It's a marketplace. It's in essence a really, really big, sometimes nice, sometimes crappy flea market, right?
Yeah.
So like some people's tables on a flea market are very ornate. But guess what? At the end of the day, if I want to, and I'm next to you, I can put my item on your table. What are you going to do? Right? You go, oh no, this is the flea market. Yeah, that's your table, but you don't own the market.
Mm-hmm.
I like what Betsy Mello said on last week's pod. It's a platform, not a partnership. And I just, that rang true for me, because if you have that attitude, you're going to be better off.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, a lot of people, like, okay, I'm not a brand owner, so I get a lot of heat for saying this kind of stuff. I don't put all my chips in that kind of stuff. Kudos to anyone that does a brand. It's super, super hard. But it's super fruitful, right? But it can be sometimes. But I will say, when I see brand owners complaining about Amazon fees, I get a little triggered, because then I say, listen, at the end of the day, what are you going to do? Right? You're going to complain about Amazon?
You're going to pull your stuff off Amazon? No.
Are you trying to wind me up early in the morning here, John? Because it's like, you know what? Then go somewhere else. Where else can you get that type of volume, that type of exposure? What do we
do all the time? I say, okay, Amazon fees are this. They have this. Then we're not going to raise this fee, but they didn't say they're not going to create new fees, right? Let's just say Amazon hits you with a 50% fee. You're still doing a ton of stuff, right? You're still doing a ton of volume. So let it be 60% fees. Let people complain. Let's say.
We got to get into what your diagnosis, your audits, your deep dives into the actual product detail pages. But we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more of John Aspinall, the most interesting man in e-commerce.
Hi, this is Betsy Mello with Midnight Group, and we are back with Always Off Brand.
And we're back with John Aspinall, ladies and gentlemen. So what's wrong with product detail pages on Amazon? Where did you take your merchandising experience and your expertise, and how do you fix it? What do you see, and how do you fix it?
Yeah, so I think I'm very raw and unfiltered, and I was just at Prosper speaking, and that's like the first thing on my intro card was like, hey, I'm raw and unfiltered from New York City, so sorry if I offend you. And some people's faces were just like, huh? Like, why is he saying that? But like, when it comes to nice to know and need to know information, when you put in a premium A+ content, a scrollable carousel, for example, and you're making customers do work to find information to make a purchase, shame on you. The first card in a carousel should be the need to know. Nice to know should be if I scroll over and see that kind of stuff, because I equate carousels and hotspots things, those kind of modules, as like going to Target and then doing the self-checkout. Like, I don't work here, dude. I just want to buy the stuff. I don't want to make it hard for me to purchase. Like, you're going to make me scroll over and hover over the dog's foot to tell me that it's itch relief and that kind of stuff. So I find that's a big issue. And it's very holy sounding, because I'm a brand evangelist, which sounds religious too. And it's so not. I feel like I should be at like an altar with like some sort of robe on half the time. But when people also put like embedded video modules in the premium A+ for like an ice cream scoop, what are you showing me? What are you making me click on in the video that's going to compel me for that ice cream scoop?
Right.
Scooping ice cream? Like, it's just not, it's just, don't do that, because people aren't going to be clicking on it. So you could be using that as a still module to say why your ice cream scoop is the best. So I just think people get a little bit too highfalutin and think that, oh my God, my 6-foot roll of double-sided tape needs to have a video and needs to have a hotspot. And no, make it easy for people to make the purchase, and tell people why you. Too many people focus on features, not benefits. Like, if you're selling a blender, I don't care, or I'm sorry, my wife doesn't know, forget about it, I don't care what a triple carbide steel blade is, But if you say the benefit of that is you can crush ice in 60 seconds, then that's the benefit. So too many people get bogged down in the specifics, which are super boring, and they sound very China Direct phrase, right? Because China Direct is a big thing on Amazon.
Yes.
So when I see things that say like premium quality, I scream internally, sometimes externally, because when someone says premium, I'm like, just tell me what makes it premium. Don't say premium. Don't say that. You know who says premium? The guys in Shenzhen that are trying to take your lunch money and beat you on price. They're saying premium this, premium that. So
they're not going to beat you on price anymore. Go ahead.
Well, that's the thing. China Direct was always beating people on prices, not branding. Now with AI and ChatGPT, they're going to beat you on branding.
John, they have gotten so good at the game over the last 3 years, 5 years, right?
Yeah, and it's and you look at like the AI models that are coming out of like China, for example, versus like OpenAI. Like DeepSeek comes out of China. You could use DeepSeek locally here in the States, but out of China, and there's like another one too. They're super, super like China's like. I ask people like, oh, whenever you have a brand, if you can equate it to where a car is manufactured and advertised in the States, then advertise that. So on your product. So for example, if you have Korean skincare, put the Korean flag out because Korea, Hyundai, Kia, it's associated with quality. If it's Japanese, do that because Lexus, Toyota, stuff like that. But if it's China, there's no China car, so don't equate that. That's my little like equation for that. But I was just on TikTok and I saw a video about how this car is manufactured in China, and it's the most amazing thing in the world. So like it's really coming up from behind you, and a lot of people won't realize it till it's too late.
Okay, so how do you educate your customer on your good, better, best products? So you've got 3 options. You've got an entry level, you've got a mid-tier, and then you've got the best option. All 3 have different price levels. All 3 have different features and benefits. So let's call it, the speed. Let's say one is 3, 4, and then 5. How do you communicate that on a PDP so that the customer can understand the good, better, best option?
Yeah. So I think first of all, when it's good, better, best, right? Good, make it look in the merchandising how it fits the person that's shopping for the good. So if it's a lower price point and it's good, put the more humble everyday person, the moms, the dads, stuff like that, versus the best is maybe the person with more disposable income that's not necessarily living that lifestyle. So for example, if the good is $39 price point and the best is $149 price point, I'm just making up something, right? You don't want to show the same merchandising for those avatars, but more so when you get to the PDP and you're doing the module at the bottom that says, hey, here are other different options. I think there's 2. There's one that's a standard one. We could show your different other ASINs that are inside of it, but there's a new one for premium, not new, but it has a carousel inside of it where it's like comparison where you can have to hit a carousel.
That's premium A+ with the comparison chart that you can scroll through. Yeah, that's the premium
Couldn't
option.
you make a comparison chart as one of your tiles?
You could, but I came here to learn more about this product, right? And you're going to tell me more about the more expensive one. So what you want to do is...
this is where merchandising, right? It's still an item-driven business, and you know what I mean? It's better. It's a million times better than it was. But that's where I think we get caught up in trying to move collections and on my product detail, my variants, and we get out of control. It's like, no, I'm here to buy shit. I go in, give me what I want, and I want to click on it and buy. I don't want to be over upsold or what have you.
That's what I hate about A+ content that talks about brand specific, where I go down there and I went on the good model, but then you're talking about the best models over here, right? Use that for your brand story module. I think the brand story module is very, very, very underutilized for a lot of different reasons on Amazon, because over there you could talk about you could show, if you have good, better, best, show them in the first background image, tile together, and then in one module talk about, hey, this is what it is, and you can use up to I think 10 different modules in the brand story, and all of that
is this in the Amazon store, or where are you talking about the brand
story?
The brand story is on the PDP above the A+.
Oh, okay. I got it. Okay.
I just don't like
Yeah.
it for mobile. I
But it's
struggle
not
with that.
ASIN specific. It's like a
Correct.
blanketed thing. You have to
Correct.
publish that to all of your listings.
Exactly. But that in that brand story module, you have collections inside of it. So you can have one
Right.
module be here's our blenders. The next module be here's our cutting, cutlery. And then you can use lifestyle images before it. And then you could either do one click button to that specific collection, or you could do a 4-way kind of window pane for different ones. Or you could do what a lot of people are doing is taking a lifestyle image, cutting it into 4, making it look really interesting. But then instead of one image with alt text behind it for SEO, now you have 4 images in each module. So if you're using 10 modules, that's 40 images with 40 different strings of alt text behind it, which is powerful for SEO,
Good.
which no one's doing.
Yeah,
That's
go
a
into
juicy
alt text.
nugget.
We never talk about alt text. Explain what it is. Explain why people should care, please.
So alt text, it's kind of like, well, you guys curse on here, right? It's kind of like a dick move, right? So because technically,
You haven't got off
alt-
you're still thinking about the libido product, aren't you?
why well, it's saying want a better no, I shouldn't.
No,
that's
Summer. He's got 3 kids.
I want the opposite.
It's not for
So
him. It's for his wife.
No, the funny thing is I want like the opposite, like of what I want, like just can I take a gummy that like a sterilization gummy? That's what Ollie should make, a sterilization
That
gummy.
is what they should make. Yep.
So
But
alt
now I
text
have to
is
cut that out because you said the name and we can't use that name.
That's okay.
that
That made me
okay,
laugh.
whatever. Anyway, so I didn't know, you didn't tell me the rules. So
You're
okay.
right. Fair point.
So with alt text is technically supposed to be for people with visual impairments that they can shop on Amazon. I'm not laughing at visual impairments. That they can shop on Amazon and they can hear what they're seeing. God help anyone with visual impairments that shops on Amazon right now, because they're going to get hit with a string of nonsense. Because what it is I don't know how many years ago someone realized that that alt text ranks for SEO on Amazon. So now people are using it for additional placements of keywords, and they're not front facing. So you're able to do things which I always tell people to do, which a lot of other gurus in the space say that's wrong. You shouldn't do that, whatever. For typos, misspellings, and Spanish phrases. So if you're
Definitely Spanish. I see that a lot.
Yeah, because think about it like this. If you look at like Helium 10, Data Dive,
Yep,
Jungle
yep.
Scout, pick your choice of tools, you'll see Spanish phrases ranking. But then how the hell you can't put Spanish phrasing, Spanish phrases in front facing copy. So where is that coming from? It's coming from back-end keywords. It's coming from alt text. So if you find that you have a very high search volume item or a competitor for a Spanish phrase, that's where you're putting it. But typos and misspellings are a huge thing. If you have something that's like common, like I'm 41 years old. Don't ask me how to spell vacuum. I don't know if it's 1 C and 2 U's or 2 C's and 1 U. So I'm confident that that's misspelled every single day on Amazon. So our guys like Dyson, they don't care about that kind of stuff. It's a monster company, right? But if you're up and coming with a brand for something like that, you would want to do that to capitalize on that kind of thing.
That
So
is a juicy nugget.
Yeah.
Where do you put the alt text? Where does it go? Is there a field in Amazon?
So when you're uploading the images into the brand story module, there's that little string of like image name, and then that's where you're putting it. So you're putting it, I think, I'm trying to, I don't speak Spanish at all. I think I know like anything that's on the Taco Bell menu.
Hola.
So I was trying to, hola,
¿Cómo
hola, como, amigo,
Buenos
comma.
dias.
Yeah, put Buenos Dias with a Z on the end, right? So then this way it's like, well, no, put regular Spanish. So that's actually if you want to triple down. If you want to triple down on it, you're putting English typos and misspellings, Spanish phrases, and then Spanish typos and misspellings. That's like if you really want to take it to like level 10 pro stuff.
Yeah, but there's got to be a character limit back there. You don't have space for all of that.
No, but it's about 200 characters. But that's why I'm saying in the brand story module, if you take one image and make it 4, now you have 4 strings. So now you have 4 200 whatever character limits. So there's ways to parlay that to make it make sense.
So
Cool, right?
you talk a little bit about testing PDPs.
Yeah.
What can you give some of the best tips for how to successfully run a PDP test?
Yeah. So on PickFu, it depends what you're looking to do, right? So if you're looking to affect your CTR,
Click-through rate?
your click-through rate, sorry. Yeah. It doesn't matter what your page looks like because they didn't see it yet. They have to click to see it. So if you want to affect your CTR, you're testing your main hero image. Please, and John and Justin, my bosses at PickFu, are probably gonna give me a cardboard box and say, pack it up after I say this. But
I can't wait.
don't PickFu your title. Don't do that because it doesn't matter what Cindy and Mark and Ohio say about, I like how that title looks better than this title. Text is for robots and algorithms. Images are for people. So
there you can see, that's what I wanted. That's finally we got out of you.
OMG.
That is boom. Text is for robots and images are for people. Bam, drop the mic.
So
that's
when you're testing
right there, John, that's good shit.
Did I earn my check today? My affiliate check?
I'll Venmo you in a minute.
So when you're
the best quote I heard was, "No one lies to the search bar." And I love that because it's like, you're not trying to be like PC. You're not trying to like be like, oh, I know how to spell. No one lies to the search bar.
Well, this is the problem when you talk about brands. Again, I'll raise my hand. We're, as brand marketers, we get into this. Get out of your own way. You're so sucked into your little bubble and vacuum. You think people give a shit about the most random ingredient in your product. They don't. Tell me what it does and tell me why I should care and move on.
Thank you.
You don't care about the organically sustained heart of palm sourced from Nicaragua by these ladies. Like, that's the thing. Like, people get very, very bogged down in these specific things when I'm just here to fix my stomach issues. Like, I don't really care. Like, where there's some folks that are like, oh, they care about how the lady picks it out of the ground before she sends it to the manufacturer and they grind it up. No, like, most folks don't care. They have a problem, you have a solution, right? So when you're testing for the PDP, PickFu is a really powerful way of, you can test link versus link, right? A lot of people don't realize that. Like, I could put the link to the Amazon product from my product and the link to my competitor, and the respondents take a look at the whole entire thing. So now we're talking about your conversion rate, not your click-through rate.
Which is really what matters at the end of the day.
Well, that's like a bake-off. I love that. That's like
bake-off.
That's fantastic.
Well, John, how do we, and I think you answered this earlier, but so many consumers now, they don't even go to the page. They just add to cart from the search page.
Yeah.
So what's crazy is Amazon was testing out like 6 to 8 months ago, buy now from the SERP in a lot of categories. They've removed it since.
I saw
but they were doing that was sick. It was just like you could, but they've changed it since then because people were but that's the thing. So Haley, you were saying conversion rate is the one that matters, that really matters. But at Prosper, I was doing a presentation with a competitor, literally a toe-to-toe competitor. That's another conversation. And it was CTR versus CVR, but I was CTR and he was CVR, and everyone in the audience was saying, raise your hands if CTR matters the most. Like, 2 guys, and then John and Justin raised their hands. And then he said, CVR matters. And then everyone raised their hands. And I looked at the crowd and I was like, what are you people kidding me? Like, your product detail page doesn't matter if no one's going to click. You could have the cure for cancer on there, but if no one sees it, they're not buying it.
100%. 100.
That's
That's what I, when I work on our ads, it's like, if we're, I don't care if this ad's return on ad spend sucks. If the conversion rate sucks, if the click-through rate is bad, then I need something to do, because if the conversion rate's poor, if the return on ad spend is poor, that's on the PDP. But when I'm looking at ads, people so often focus on return on ad spend. So many agencies, here's your return on ad spend. And I'm like, can we talk click-through rate?
Well, I'll just kind of like end it here, because like I'll mic drop it just because I can talk for literally millenniums. If your CTR increases and your conversion rate stays the same, you make more money. And that was a slide I put on Prosper, and I'll say it again. If your CTR increases, which means all you have to do is affect getting more clicks, don't worry about your conversion, let it stay the same, you will make more money. period.
That's actually like math right there. And that's there is traffic and conversion, kids. Welcome to Mr. Captain Obvious. I know, but that's really what it gets down to. And if you can identify what's going on in those two things, then you might have a chance. Speaking of chances, does John Aspinall have a chance to beat Summer Jubileer in the game show Sweeping the Globe? What's that keyword? I can't wait. We'll be back.
What's up, everyone? I'm Gloria Chow, small biz PR coach, and you're listening to Always Off Brand.
Finally, a game show nerdier than an Excel V lookup. It's time for What's That Keyword? Here's your host, Haley on the news.
All right, let's see what kind of fun John Aspinall has because he stuck around to play What's That Keyword? All right, if you're new here, I'm going to give you a product that is sold on Amazon.com. You have to guess the keyword or keyword phrase that converted for this product. Pro tip, maybe think outside the box a little bit. Okay, your first product is the Crumble Cookie Dove Body Wash. If you don't know, Crumble Cookie partnered with Dove.
I love Crumble Cookie. I did not know they partnered with Dove.
They did. So that is your first product. What did somebody type in?
Do you want me to go first, John? We usually have let's go first.
I'll go first. I'll say cookie, long tail or short tail. Doesn't matter. No.
You choose. Doesn't matter.
Dove cookie soap.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Dairy Queen Blizzard all day long.
I love your keyword, Scott. Summer?
I don't, because I feel like he's clearly not trying, and I am trying to compete with some competitors here. So thank goodness John stuck around. I'm gonna go with cookie dough body wash.
All right. Well, we didn't have a winner on that one. I was actually looking for confetti cake wash.
Oh, yeah.
Confetti cake wash. You know, it's so funny. This came up in a marketing meeting yesterday because it was actually a Walmart exclusive. So it's not, there's a third-party seller hawking it on Amazon now. But some of our marketing conversations there was a lot of conversations, I think, about balls smelling like cake. So it was a really funny conversation. All right. Your next product is a rabbit iPhone case.
Oh,
rabbit
interesting.
iPhone case.
All right.
John, you want to go first?
All right, I'm going to go first.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think
Easter basket gifts.
Okay. John? Scott?
iPhone bunny.
No. Scott?
Easter egg hunt.
Ooh, you guys were so close. But y'all, I was looking for Easter basket stuffers.
Okay, I basically got it.
You were close. Maybe I'll give you a quarter of a point for that.
No, we got rid of quarter points in 2021.
Okay, fine. Summer, I'm sorry. You got no points. But that was a lot of fun. Thanks, guys. We'll be right back with the news.
At least you played this time, Scott. Damn.
Hey, this is Josh Kreitzer, founder and CEO here at Channel Bakers, and you are listening to Always Off Brand.
Well, that's all been fun and games, but it's that time, the time America has been waiting for. It's time for the news.
Hot off the press. Get your news. It's hot off the press. This is updated 1 minute ago, so I don't know if it gets much hotter than that. We are recording today on Friday, April the 4th, 2025. And if you've been living under a rock, let me tell you what's going on in the world. China set a 34% tariff on U.S. goods.
Hey, Scotty O here from Manhunt Studios Editing, and this was recorded quite a while ago, and things have changed dramatically and could change more depending on when you hear this. So we're going to skip the number part of the tariff conversation and go right to kind of what's going on for brands and how to deal with it. Okay, thanks. I just think that I've been deep into this. Believe me, my wife is like, no more tariff talk. We cannot talk tariff talk. Because I've been dealing with this for 3 months every single day, because most of our clients make their product in either China or Vietnam, and a lot of them move it through Mexico on up. So this is a difficult, challenging thing for people who have to plan a business and have to buy gray goods and molds and everything else. This is extremely challenging. So a lot of the clients increase their price in the first week of April. We've slotted and we have a lot of price increases coming because those goods, they had to predict that we're going to get another 30%. And the factories want the business, need the business.
Right.
They got nothing to do with this, but they got no margin left either.
Can I put a tariff on my salary?
Exactly. That's a great idea.
Well, we're going to need it because the cost of everything, we as the consumers, so let's take off our brand hats and just put on our, we need consumer goods hat. We're going to have to pay for all of this. And the brands who, we're 4 months out in production. So think about it. Right now, POs are getting placed for Q3, Q4. Yeah. We're thinking about holiday. Like your holiday goods are going to be on a boat soon. So when we're talking about those, peak seasons for shopping, now what? What are the prices going to look like? Mark Cuban has made a statement. So for whatever he is worth.
Oh, I love him.
He says, stock up now.
Well, yeah.
Stock up on all of your goods.
TVs.
Like go buy it now. Go buy your cars. Go buy your RVs. Go buy all of these things that are.
But you can't because the stock market crashes. You have no money to pay for it. John, what are your thoughts?
So I'm very controversial, I think, on this end. Guess who doesn't care about any of this stuff?
There's quite a few people.
Brands made in the U.S. Brands made in the U.S.
Brands made in the U.S. Right? They love it.
In the U.S. do not care about this. And
what percentage of the brands is that?
So my brand is U.S. manufactured. However, we get some of our raw goods from overseas.
Yeah, most.
Right.
So I don't know any brands that are 100% if they're making a product.
Yeah, well, then you can argue, like, even if the product inside the packaging is made and sourced and done in the U.S., maybe the plastic is sourced from overseas, like the containers and stuff like that. But it's just going to force people in the U.S. to innovate more and to do more in-house in our own area. And just logistically, just looking at the math, just looking at the numbers, I feel like the world has gotten a free ride off the US for quite some time. Because if you look at like what we were paying in tariffs and what we were paying to take products from made in the US into other countries, we were getting hit with a large amount of percentages, right? Now, and then in the reverse, it was almost nothing. So, and then if you look at the grand scheme of things, like we're going into debt as a country, trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars for a lot of different reasons, right? But if we can recoup some of that by putting tariffs or fees on it, yes. Does it hurt the individual brand? Yes. Does it hurt the consumer? Yes. Is it going to force them to go into a different route? Yes. And that's where innovation, I think people have been too complacent.
Interesting.
The only argument I have with that is tax. How we tax people, especially people who are making billions of dollars, and what could be done that would bring in just as much money if one small little change in a tax percentage.
Yep. All right. Well, we're going to leave it at that, and we're going to be right back with Summer's absolutely like on fire favorite part of this podcast, and that's the wrap up.
I'm Russ Derringer, CEO and founder of Stradibly. You're listening to Always Off Brand.
Oh, and Scotty O again back in the studio. Maybe sad, I don't know. There's no wrap up because everyone had to go and we jumped. Oh my gosh. Anyway, please like, subscribe, because we love John. Because why? Because people matter and he knows a lot of stuff. Follow him if you're not on LinkedIn. Thanks for listening. We'll be back more. We have great live shows coming up from the Digital Shelf Summit in New Orleans. We have other big shows planned, some great guests coming up. Like, subscribe, tell somebody. We appreciate it. And everybody, have a good day. Bye-bye.
Hey there, this is Haley from Quickfire, and they want me to read this so you know what this podcast is part of and how to find out more if you want. Always Off Brand is a production of Quickfire LLC and a part of the Learn and Laugh series on the Quickfire Podcast Network. For more information, go to quickfirenow.com. Have a good one, and thanks for listening.